In this video, I want to talk to you about different types of filters that I recommend and options for getting them onto the end of your lens. No, not like that. Let's start with a quick discussion about filters in general, and then we'll get to some specific products. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I don't like UV filters. They don't provide enough of a benefit, in my opinion, for the potential loss of quality and sharpness. I dramatically toss one off screen at this point, but I did that in my recent tips for sharper images video, and I broke it. So let's move on and talk about the filters I do recommend. First up are circular polarizers. This filter actually changes the way light enters your camera, and its effects cannot be recreated in post-processing. CPL filters are great for cutting glare and reflections off obviously shiny objects like glass and wet rocks, and off some not so obvious shiny objects like leaves. This has an added benefit of increasing saturation and really making the colors pop. With a CPL filter, you can't just stick it on the end of your lens and expect that it's going to do this magic. It depends on which direction you're shooting in relation to the sun. The sun needs to be on your left or right to see the most benefit, and you need to actually turn the filter. I suggest turning it counterclockwise so that you don't accidentally unscrew the whole filter and it falls off the end of your lens. Now, for most of the rotation, you're going to see very little difference, but there'll be a few degrees where everything changes. The sky will go blue, colors will pop, reflections will vanish, and the water will become clear. And haze is going to decrease too. I mean, doesn't that all sound awesome? But be careful. It's easy to overdo this, and it's very easy to end up with a strong gradient in the sky, from a deep space blue to just your normal sky colors. To counteract that, simply back the filter off from its maximum effect. Despite this list of benefits from a CPL filter, you shouldn't walk around with one on all of the time. As I said, you need to be shooting at right angles to the sun, and you need some direct sunlight as well. If that's not the case, take it off. There may be times too when you want to see the reflections in the water, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about ND filters. ND filters simply cut the amount of light reaching your sensor, and they allow you to more easily take longer exposures in brighter conditions or really longer exposures in dimmer conditions. I talked about this some in my waterfalls tips and tricks video. I linked that right down below, but ND filters, they come in different strengths, and the most versatile is the 6-stop. This blocks 6 stops of light. You might also see this listed as an ND 64 or an ND 1.8. Let's say you're along a river and you want to soften the flow of water. Without the filter, the slowest shutter speed you find that you can get to is 1/30th of a second. That's not quite enough to get the effect you want. Throw on a 6-stop filter and you can get to 2 full seconds. That's perfect. Now, I can figure that math out in my head if you give me a minute, but it's much better to use a calculator. NISI has an app for iOS and Android devices. You set up your desired exposure before you put on the filter, then you tell it the strength of the filter, and it will tell you your maximum shutter speed. Calculators like this are important because I find some cameras, especially some Nikon DSLRs, really seem to struggle to meter properly through stronger ND filters, and then you can't trust the exposure meter. ND filters do come in other strengths, most commonly 3 and 10 stop. 3 never really seems strong enough for me, and 10 is awesome for creating some ultra long exposures, but 6 remains the one that I reach for most often as a landscape photographer. And then there are these variable ND filters that really seem like a great solution. They're similar to CPL filters in that you twist and cut the amount of light. The more you turn, the darker they get. Now, I don't recommend these for photographers. As you crank them towards their maximum, they introduce some serious issues, noticeably a big X in the banding on your photos. You're going to get better quality with the simple single strength filters. Now let's talk about the recommended brands and options for mounting. First up, you've got simple screw-on filters. That's what I've been holding up so far, CPL and ND. These are the most affordable and the most portable. They fit in nice little cases like this. My recommendation is buy the size you need for your largest lens and then buy your little step-up rings that let you fit them on smaller lenses. I've got a list of recommended filters linked down below this video. In general, Hoya, B+W, and Breakthrough are all good brands. Don't go cheap with these filters. Cheap ND filters introduce serious color casts that are really hard to correct. And cheap CPL filters also have issues and are going to negatively impact the sharpness of your shot. Now, most filters are threaded on both sides. That lets you combine a CPL and an ND filter together. That's pretty handy, but it's likely that you're going to start to see these filters creep into the corners and cause vignetting, especially on wider angle lenses, which ironically is probably the lens that you're going to use these filters with the most often. So just watch out for that. If you're struggling to find out the size filter you need, well, find your lens cap. And in the small print on the back, it usually tells you the size in millimeters. Now, another option you've got, and I reviewed these last year and really liked them, is breakthrough magnetic filters. These are really nice because they're so quick to pop on and off. That makes them really easy to work with. This is the holder, this is the filter. Now, one downside is they don't stack in their current form. So if you want to use a CPL filter to cut glare and an ND filter to cut light, well, you're going to have to buy one of their combo filters. And that fixes the issue of vignetting, but it can also get a little pricey buying all of the different combos you might want to use. I know they're working on a stacking solution. It's not available just yet. And then your last option for using a filter is a system like this from NISI. A few years ago, when I was researching and trying to figure out what was best for me, I selected the NISI. It was the easiest, it gave you everything you need to get started, and offered the most flexibility at a decent price. But mostly what I cared about was quality. And after testing and years of use, I could say I'm extremely happy. There's zero color casts, no impact to sharpness, and I just can't say the same of other, even expensive mounting brands like this. Now, what I'm demonstrating here is the V6 system. This is the 6th version of their holder, and they've really nicely improved this. So first off, you get this really extremely high quality CPL filter mounted inside this 82mm adapter. They do send along step-up rings that are included to use on most common sized lenses, and you can buy additional rings if you need it. The filter holder clips in very nicely to that adapter, and now they've added this nice little lock that just gives you extra security and locks it on there so very nicely. And one of the other huge improvements is the sliding of the filters in and out. Previous models, the grip strength here was a little, well, let's just say off the chart. And now it can grip it so firmly, but it is very easy to slide it in and out. And this holder can take up to 3 at a time, which gives you great flexibility either in mixing and matching ND filters or, of course, as I've been demonstrating here, using their kind of graduated filter to darken the sky but leave the landscape untouched. And you get to keep all of this in this nice little padded case, which I find a much better and more travel-friendly design than that past boxy box that they provided. And this also easily attaches to a tripod leg. And they're now throwing in a nice little lens cap that allows you to keep the adapter on at the end. All in all, I continue to recommend the NISI system is providing the best value and greatest flexibility along with room for growth. But if you're on a tight budget, certainly a single CPL or ND filter will take you far and save you a bit of money as well. So that's a quick look at CPL and ND filters and the various ways to get them on your lens. As I mentioned, I've got links to all of this stuff right down below this video. And if you've got questions or want to argue that UV filters are actually useful, well, you can leave those in the comments below. Just please don't tell me that UV filters cut through dust and haze in the air. Just because the guy at the camera store said that to you to get you to buy it doesn't mean it's true. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and the little bell so that you'll be notified of more straightforward photography videos. And you can also follow me on Instagram and reach out there if you have any questions as well. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.